Okay. So in the last session, we discussed about FSM, Functional Setup Manager. And we discussed what does it mean by offering and options. And by using the Functional Setup Manager, we can enable the offerings and options, and we can perform all these activities. Now we'll go and see in the instance how to enable the offerings and options in fresh instance, how to create the project, how we can start with the setups. We'll go through all. So to enable the offerings and options, click on username. Just click on username and select task called as setup and maintenance. Click on setup and maintenance task. Okay. Go to task list. This we call as a task list. Here what you could see here as a kind of notepad icon. You can click on this. It contains multiple tasks. You can call it as a task list, or you can call it as a task panel. Okay. So from here you can create implementation project. From here you can create implementation project. When you create implementation project, we have to select offerings and options into that implementation project. If you want to select any offerings and options into implementation project, first we have to enable. We have to enable those. To enable offerings and options, go to actions. Click on this actions drop down. Here you can find offerings. Go to offerings. Okay, the action, the task name is go to offerings. Select it so that we can see all the offerings which are available in this instance. Okay, all the offerings which are available in this instance, you can see all here. Fine. So we have many offerings here. Now, so whatever the offerings you are going to implement for your client, those we have to enable. Here you could see order management. The reality, order management is one of the options within the SCM. But Oracle introduced is purchasing application and inventory application and Oracle Fusion order management application with the different phases. Okay, one by one they introduced. They didn't introduce all in one go at a time. That is the reason even this is option. Here they are giving as a offering. Okay, so and again one more reason why they are giving that as separate offering. So within this order management only we have a different sub applications like so the distributor order orchestration and GOP. There are many other sub applications which are involved. Okay, order entry, shipping, execution, etc. By combining all those, we have application called as order management application. Now you could see here title as a offerings. So one of the offering name is order management. If you are going to implement order management, first we have to enable this offering in the fresh instance. Now the instance what we are using, this is test instance. In this instance, you no need to enable. You no need to enable anything, but let's try to understand how to enable if it is a fresh instance. So click on the order management icon. Don't click on the name, click on this icon. Here you could see by using order management, okay, what you can do. So you can create, import, and okay, you can perform the, okay, you can just prices, that is nothing but pricing for the items, etc. And you can create the sales orders, you can automate the sales order process. Okay, this is all you can do by using the order management application. Primarily, you can create the sales orders and you can process for that sales orders, what are the items you are going to include. You can set the pricing and that relevant information you can manage by using the order management offering. Here you can notice the status is enabled. The status you can see as enabled, but in fresh instance, you don't see as enabled. Okay, here you will see not enabled by default. When you see the status as not enabled, you can go to opt-in features tab. click on opt-in features. Just click on opt-in features. Here you have to enable. So by default, how it would be, just for our understanding purpose, I'm disabling all this. How generally it looks like, that we will discuss. In case of fresh instance, if you are working for any implementation project, so when you go to order management offering, you will see everything as a disabled. By default, nothing you can see as enabled. You'll see everything as a disabled. Just 1 second. I will just remove all those. Yes, it's already enabled, that we know. But ideally, this also it would, you don't see as enabled. Okay. Because it's already enabled. Ideally, when you disable, it should allow us to disable. It's just prompting us to enable only. No issues. Okay. Let me save. Just click on done.
The message came, right? You cannot disable.
No, ideally it allows the message.
Yeah, this you cannot disable the logistic.
Should allow us. Because see, if you disable also, you'll be able to work on it. There is an option. That is the reason. Okay, that's okay. We'll just respect what system is saying. No issues. So ideally here you can see like this. Okay. So when you come to this page, select this order management, and here you could see the offering related description. And
yeah.
Please go on mute. Please. There is some background noise from someone. So here you can see not enabled. Then you can go to opt-in features. Okay. So you can enable. First you have to enable order management. Once you enable, automatically you get access to item. Okay. Item and all you don't need to enable. You can enable the pricing. Okay. To define the price for the items which you are selling to the customers. Okay. And other sub options also available. Those also you can include. Okay. The order management, business intelligence analysis, the reporting and all. So logistics and business intelligence analysis. This is all you can enable. Okay. So primarily, if you enable order management, ideally you get access to sales order creation process related configuration you can perform. Okay. This enabled. Inside of that, what are the some sub options are available that also system is displaying. So when you are going to work on the order management, by default, system will allow you to implement what are the features are available within the order management. But apart from that, if anything you want to implement, which is not provisioned for the order management, those you can enable from here. You can click on edit against the features. You can click on edit. And here you can enable. See, almost all are enabled. If anything is not enabled, if you are going to implement for your client, that you can select. Okay. So additional options are available here when we are going to implement this application. Okay. So these are the different concepts: drop shipment, okay, order holds, and these are the different concepts you can set. By default, you can get all these as enabled along with the order management offering. This we have to notice. If anything is missing, if you are going to implement the same, that you can enable it. Even if you are not going to implement, if that is enabled, no issues at all. Okay, no issues. So even system is enabling. If you are not going to implement, no issues. That you can accept. That will be available to implement. So there won't be any issues with that if you are enabling, which you are not going to implement. So this is what you could see here. The same way, other offerings also you have to enable. This is one of the offering, order management. The same way you can see product management. Okay, product management is another offering. And here what you can do, you can see all those. By using this, you can manage the items. Items you can create, and you can create the catalogs. Okay. And you can just work on the receipt accounting and purchased items, cost accounting, okay, reports and the product profitability management. This all you can achieve by using the product management. Simply you can understand, for item management purpose, item creation and management purpose, we use product management offering. You can notice here this is also enabled because this is a test environment, that is test, or you can call as dev. This is environment we are using for practice purpose. So this is enabled by somebody. Okay. In fresh instance, you see the status as not enabled. You have to go to opt-in features. Go to opt-in features. So in the opt-in features, as a part of product management, what are the options? Options. You can see all those. Okay. Please go on. Please. Here you can see. Okay. Within the product management, you have like inventory organizations, item organizations, items, okay, categories, item structures, item mass update. So different, all related to item. Okay, all related to item. All this you can just by default would be disabled mode, and you can go and enable all these one by one in case of first instance. You may not implement something as which is a part of product management, no issues at all. Okay, that won't create any issues. Simply you can enable all. Okay, you can enable all whatever the checkboxes are available. Even if you are not going to implement those, since we are going to use product management, no issues. You can enable. Okay, you can enable and say. So enable whatever you see here, no issues. What exactly we are going to implement? Yes, that only will implement. Because we are enabling here, we are not going to implement what we don't require. So just enable everything which is available here. You don't need to go for choice when you are enabling. Enable everything, no issues. When we are implementing, then you can go for the choice, what exactly we have to implement as per the client subscriptions from Oracle. If you enable, no issues. So you can enable everything, but whatever applications subscription you are taking, those only you have to implement. Here also as a part of product management, if anything is missing, if you want to include as a part of product management implementation, so you can go and enable that. System will allow you to do the relevant setups on, and you can implement that process. Okay, you can click on that and you can select. By default, you could say almost all are enabled in every offering level. We don't need to set up anything. This is another offering called as product management. The same way, when you talk about purchasing application, the purchasing application is part of procurement. Just click on done. Click on done. Now, if you are going to implement purchasing application, the purchasing application you can see as a part of procurement. Now select procurement. Select procurement offering. So this also you can see as enabled. In fresh instance, you have to go to opt-in features. Go to opt-in features. Just wait for a second. Yep. So you can see procurement enabled. Within that, purchasing is one application. Self-service procurement. You can call it as iProcurement also. This is another application. And you can see supplier portal, which is iSupplier application, and sourcing. sourcing application, or you call as options, procurement contracts. This is all you can see which are there as a part of procurement. So if you enable purchasing, that is enough. But no issues. You can enable this and you can enable all. There won't be any issue when we are going to use this. Just you can enable leave, and as per our requirement, we can do the settings. And here also you can set the futures. If anything need to be enabled, which are not coming as by default enabled, those you can enable by just navigating to this futures page. Okay, here you can enable if anything is missing, what you are going to implement. When we go through all these applications, we'll come to know by using which application, what we can do. Once we are comfortable with these applications, if you come and see here so that you can understand, okay, this is what we implement from this application, this is what we need. So and so and option we no need to enable this, all you can understand. But now just for your understanding purpose, where we have options, where we can enable, that I'm taking. Fine, this is all about procurement offering. Just click on done. Okay. So these are the primary. Okay, we discussed. Okay, we discussed here spreadsheet. Okay. So inventory, order management, purchase. Those are the offerings. Okay. So other offerings. Okay. So mostly like you can, all you will be able to select. Those will be part of within this offerings only. Okay, within these offerings only, those also would be available. When we are going to just do the setups and all, you can see that. But now these are the points you have to understand. Primarily, these you have to enable: procurement, product management, and order management. Enable these three offerings. And you can see here, you have a related documents. I'm selecting order management and the description of order management. Here we have a related documents. For every offering, you can see that. So within the order management, what are the features are available? And if you want to implement order management, what setups you have to complete, the relevant documents Oracle is providing. Okay, the documents are available in the different formats, PDF format or HTML, Excel. You can download and you can see that information. Okay, but that is not required. When you're practicing, you can open and you can see. So at this stage, it doesn't make any sense. We have to get into that application. We have to go through how to do the setups. Then we'll understand. From once you're done with those activities, you can come back and you can check. Or else now also you can go through those documents. But now you cannot understand anything. Just for information, you may go through. Okay, download these documents. You may have a look. Other business objects and enterprise application. This information is not useful for us to understand anything. That is for some technical reference and other purposes. Okay, so this is how you have to enable any offering. Say along with SCM, we are going to implement financials. Then select financials offering also. Okay, select financials offering, enable financials offering. Okay, process is same. You have to click on opt-in features. To click on opt-in features, and it will list out the applications what we have as a part of financials. What are the finance applications we are going to implement as per our project? Those all we have to enable. Okay. So general ledger application, supplier invoice processing means payables. Okay. Fixed assets application, receivables application, different applications. What are the applications we have as a part of financials? You can see here. So when we are working for any implementation, who has to enable all these options? Anyone can do it. Who knows how to enable, who knows what are the offerings and options we are going to implement for our client, they can do it. It is not mandatory. These offerings and options should be enabled by project manager or so and so person. No, anyone can do it. It's a simple task. Okay, so you are going to implement finance, SCM and HCM. So you can go to financials and you can enable. You can go to these different offerings like product management, procurement, order management, and you can enable. and say you are going to implement PPM. For PPM, they given two offerings. Okay, project portfolio management. They given project execution management, project financial management. If you enable these two are equal to PPM. If you are going to implement HCM, human capital management, the workforce development and workforce deployment. Okay, the workforce development and workforce deployment. So these are equal to HCM. Okay, that's how they are giving. So we have to enable so that these will be able to select into our project. So any questions here, please? No questions. So this is what we have to understand, how to enable the offerings and options. After enabling the offerings and options, we have to create implementation project. Let's see how to create implementation project. So we are in this page. How to navigate to this page? Click on username. Click on setup and maintenance task. And go to task list. Once we navigate to this page by clicking on, okay, setup and maintenance, you can see this page. From here, click on task list and click on manage implementation projects. Click on manage implementation projects. Here you can create implementation project. If you are working for any client, in the first instance, you don't find any single implementation project in this page. This is how you find as a blank, but this is a test instance we are using for practice. So that is the reason you can see many implementation projects in this instance. And one more very important point is one instance, the instance what Oracle is providing, that should be used by only one company, one organization. If Oracle is providing one instance, that instance you can use for multiple companies also, multiple organizations. Okay, so but that Oracle is not allowing. You have to use one instance for one client only. One instance for one client. That instance what Oracle is providing, that should be used by only one client. They may use it for one country or multiple countries. That is not an issue, but that should be used by only one client. And how many implementation projects we have to create? First, we have to understand the purpose of implementation project. The purpose is to complete the setups. Okay, to perform the setups, we are going to create implementation project. So when you create implementation project, you can create country-specific implementation projects. You are doing implementation for US and India. For one client, you are doing the implementation for US and India. You can create two separate projects, one for US, one for India. Or else you can create single implementation project for two countries. You can do the setups from the same implementation project. That is possible. But always we create separate implementation projects so that there won't be any confusion. If you create setups for two countries from one implementation project, there are certain setups where we get confused or by mistake we proceed with the same information which is related to other country and all. That's how we may commit with the mistakes. As a best practice, always we create single projects, separate projects for countries. Now let's see how to create the implementation project here. Okay, let's see how to create the implementation project. To create implementation project, click on create icon. Okay, click on create icon. Of course, we created user called as Zoom. We can create the project with a Zoom, or else say I want to create project for the company called as, let's use the company for our testing purpose. Okay, American Express. We'll use name as Amex, short name. Okay, American Express, the company. So will you take the name as Amex and we'll create our implementation project. We'll create a user also as Amex. As of now, we have a user called as Zoom. Later we'll create user for Amex. Let's create an implementation project with a
Quick question.
Name called as Amex. Please.
Hello. Yeah. So where can we find this page?
Sorry, where can we?
Where can I find this navigation from? So navigation to this create implementation.
Yeah, that's the reason I'm going step by step only for your convenience.
Setup and maintenance. Okay.
See, first you have to click on the username.
Okay.
Click on setup and maintenance. Don't practice simultaneously if you are doing that. Okay, don't practice simultaneously. So we'll land in this page once you click on setup and maintenance. Now click on task list.
So just a minute. If you no need to practice simultaneously, then after the class, how it will be? What is the normal this one? So practice and now only understand.
What I'm trying to say is now I'm creating implementation project. You don't plan to create implementation project now itself.
Okay.
Okay, that is the meaning of
right. Sir.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So what happens, yes, you may think you are completing your activity from your end, but at the same time you will miss the what you have to think and understand and whatever I'm explaining. Yeah. So during the class, don't practice. After class, yes, you can practice. If you want to practice after class, you have to make a note of each and every point. Okay. Please take a note of each and every point, what we are discussing and what we are doing in the system. Then by referring that, you can practice.
Okay. So can we find another manage implementation for its task list? Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, click on task list and click on manage implementation projects. Now we are in this page. From this page only, we are going to create implementation project. So here you could see many implementation projects in this instance. Okay, now you can create project from here. Is it clear?
Yes, it's clear now.
Yeah, that is a navigation path to create the implementation project. Now click on create icon. Just click on create icon. So by default, system is taking the name. By default, system is taking the name. You can update the name how you need. Say we are going to create implementation project for a company called as American Express. So short name we are giving as Amex. Number and all what system is fetching that you can ignore. To make the project name as unique, system is deriving some number. Okay, name I'm giving Amex implementation project. That's all. Use tab from the keyboard. Now you could see the same name it is taking as a implementation project code. The same it is taking as a description, and project status is not started. What does it mean by project setups? That means we not yet started setups. We are just creating the project. And from which user we are creating this implementation project? We are creating from Zoom user. Okay, so that is the reason the project will get assigned to the same user by default. If you want to change, you can change. You want to assign this project to different user. Yes, you can click on the drop down, and here you can find any one of the user and you can assign. Say I want to assign to user called as Geo. Search, select, and say OK. Okay, now we are assigning this project to user called as Geo. So for every project you have to associate, okay, one user. By default, system will select. Okay, so if you don't want to assign to any user, you can keep it as blank, nothing wrong. And who has to create this implementation project? Who has to create this implementation project? So anyone can create this implementation project. Who knows how to create implementation project, they can create. Don't think project manager has to create because this is implementation project. This implementation project is not as a actual implementation project, which we do various activities. This project meaning is setups. Okay, just to perform the setups we are creating in the system. For that, we are giving the name as implementation project. Anyone can create it. If you are working for the client, so if you know how to create implementation project, you can create. When we are part of implementation project, definitely we keep in touch with the entire team and we'll have a meetings and discussions. That's how somebody will take the initiative of creating implementation project, enabling offerings and options, creating implementation project. Somebody can take the responsibility and they can create. Okay, anyone can create. Anyone can create. So when we are doing the implementation. Now, with this, what we are going to do, we are going to do the setups. Okay, so we are going to do the setups. So what time, when you are going to start doing these setups, the start date and the finish date. That means what would be the time frame to complete the setups by using this implementation project that you can specify. Okay, so start date is today, finish date. You can give tentative finish date, in later you can change it. Say we are going to complete all the setups by 26th. If you don't complete by 26th, there won't be any issue at all. System is not going to stop you if you are trying to do the setups after 26th. This is just for information. Okay, so that you can see the progress of the project. We are supposed to complete all the setups by 26th. Today is 29th. These many days delay. Those are all details we can capture. For that purpose, you may provide the finish date. And again, you can notice finish date is not a mandatory field, optional. The start date, you should provide the date, because this field, you have a star mark. When you see star mark, that means you should provide the data in that field. Without providing the data in that field, you cannot save it. Okay, finish date, if you want to provide, otherwise leave it. Okay, so we are not assigning this project to any user. After completing this implementation project, we'll create a user called as Amex and we'll assign this project to Amex, or else time being you can assign to current user, or later we can change. Any questions here, please? And once you create implementation project, anytime you can change the name and you can change the description, and assignments you can change, status you can change, start date, finish date you can change, but you cannot change the code. Okay, based on this project name, system is taking the implementation project code, automatically system is creating. This field system will freeze. It won't allow you to do the changes, but name and description and other information, anytime you can update against the project. Now, so we have to select the offerings and options into this implementation project. Okay, so what are the applications we are going to implement? Those applications are belongs to which offerings, those we have to select. To select offerings and options into this project, click on next. Okay, click on next. Just click on next. So within this instance, how many offerings and options are enabled? Those all system will list out. Okay, say you have an offering called as order management. Order management offering is not enabled. If order management offering is not enabled, you don't find order management offering at the time of project creation, and you cannot select the same into your implementation project. If it is already enabled, then you can see here. Now the big list, what you are able to see, these all are already enabled in this instance. Okay, these all are already enabled. Almost all are enabled in this instance. That is the reason we are able to see here. Okay, so what you want to include, you can include. Now into our project, say we are going to implement SCM, supply chain management application. So we have to include order management, include it. Okay, wait for a second. So within that order management, we have the pricing, you can include, and we have channel revenue management, you can include. Okay, and we have few other BI analysis, BI reporting and all, that also you can enable. No issues. Even if you are not going to implement all, you can implement, you can enable, no issues. Whatever you want to implement, those only you can implement, or else whatever you need, you can select, remaining you can leave it, or else you may implement one or two, all also you can include, there won't be an issue. We included. Now we want to implement purchasing. Purchasing is part of procurement. Now you can include procurement also. If you are going to implement procurement also along with the supply chain management, you can include all the options which are available within the procurement. Okay. So self-service procurement is one option application, procurement application. Okay, supplier invoice processing is payables application. As if somebody is going to implement payables also along with the procurement applications, they can enable this, otherwise ignore it. Okay, include supplier portal, sourcing. Okay, so whatever you are going to implement, those all you can enable. Okay, there's no issues. What you see as a part of specific offering, you can enable all. Nothing wrong. What you want to implement, those you can implement by doing the setups. By selecting, you are not doing any mistake. Include everything. I'm including everything. And procurement, we included, and order management, we included. Now scroll a little down. Here we have product management. Include product management also. Okay. Include product management also. So within that, you can create inventory organizations, item organizations, items. So apart from that, we have product information management. This is all just you can enable, no issues. Just enable what you have as a part of it. When we do the setups, we will come to know like what setup we are able to do from which offering or which option, that you can see very clearly when we do the setups. For now, you can include everything, no issues. I'm just including.
And this project is just assigned to one person, is that right?
No, just it is not like assigning to one person. Without person also you can create the project. Okay, ideally system. So try to tag the current user as an assignment, that you can ignore or else you can accept. So that is not a rule like this project is going to be assigned. Yes, by default, as a part of implementation project creation process, the project system will map with the specific user. For any user you can choose.
Okay.
Because of that, that user is not going to have any controls or rights on this project. No, that is just for information. Yeah.
But we can assign it to multiple people.
Multiple people project you cannot assign. Within the project, we are going to have offerings and options, right? Those you can assign to multiple.
Okay, which means we need to create multiple implementation projects by user, just in case if needed.
Yes, yes, yes. But ideally not required. Say you are implementing SCM, finance, and procurement. 3 offerings. Say 3 consultants are going to work. You can create one implementation project with person assignment or without person assignment. Finance you can assign to one consultant, finance consultant. SCM you can assign to SCM consultant. Procurement you can assign to procurement consultant.
Okay.
That's how we can do the assignments within the single project. Ideally, we create one project for one country. You don't need to create for financials one project, SCM or another project, procurement another project, to keep the mapping. Not required.
Okay. Okay.
Fine. So just I'm trying to include everything what we have as a part of product management. Projects. That's all. So this is how you can include. So along with that, say you are going to implement financials also. You can include financials. Okay, within the financials, which applications you are going to implement, those all you can include as options. So you can include. Later, if you want to remove, you can remove these, no issues. After creating project, if you want to remove anything, you can remove. We have that flexibility. I'm just including whatever available from this offer. Okay, done. So this is how you can include. Now say save and open project. Just wait for a second. It takes time because it has to create the task list. Okay, now we selected order management. We selected procurement. Within the procurement, we have our purchasing application. And we just included product management and financials. These all we included. To implement all these applications, what are the setups we have to perform? Those setup system will create as a task list. Okay, it will create as a task list. So it takes some time because it has to generate the task list of setups which you have to perform to implement all these offerings and options. Just wait for maybe 1 minute. It may take 1 minute because we have many options which we included. For all those options, it has to generate the task list.
Lakshman, in the meantime,
Please.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You said that we can work after some time, after this session. I'm actually going through the mobile device. So how do I have access for this URL?
No, I didn't get you. Like what you are you accessing the instance from mobile? What you said?
No, I'm just going through your classes through mobile device.
Mobile device, we are going through mobile device. Okay.
No, how do I get this URL? Like, is this the same
The
URL?
URL, you can keep in touch with the team. Okay, team will help you to get this instance link. Okay, and the videos. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what my.
Yeah, you talk to the team, they will provide this instance URL. Yeah.
So since this is in demo instance, Lakshman, is it going to have all the setups or
All,
things that
yes.
are going to work? Or
You
it's
can
going
do
to be
all the
different?
setups, yes.
Okay.
Do all the setups, you'll have a full privileges because we are giving access to security console. Security console access we have along with application implementation consultant means you will get full access.
Okay.
Okay. Now you can see project is created, Amex implementation project. You could see basic information here. The name what we given, code and status. Okay, status is not started, assigned to Zoom user, start date, finish date. If you want to change these details, you can change anytime. You can update. You can click on edit. You can change the name. You can change the description, but code you cannot change. That field is freezed. You can update the status. Say you started working on this implementation project. You can set the status as a in progress. Okay. You want to change the assignment or else you want to remove the assignment, you can do that. Say save and close. Okay. So if you have assignment with this user, with the current user, what you can do is easily you can track this project. Easily you can track. How you can track? Say for example, so done. Now you can go to task list, click on manage implementation projects. If you click on overview, the projects which are assigned to this user system will list out. If you don't assign this project to any user, what you have to do is you have to go and search from this page. This is how you have to search. Okay. So if you assign to any user by clicking on overview, easily you can find out the projects which are assigned to the user. That's what you can do. Now let's go to our project, manage implementation projects. So this is the project we created just now. Click on Amex implementation project. So within this, you could see all the offerings, order management, product management, procurement, financials. This is what we included. So inside what we included as options, those also you can see. To just expand any one of the offering. I'm expanding order management. So here it is showing. So it is showing here. See, it was not showing when we were enabling, when we are including into our project order management. Now here it is showing define orders. To create the sales orders, these are the setups we have to perform. To complete the pricing related setups, here is the list of setups. In this folder you can find. The same way, common order management configuration. To implement order management, the common setups which are required you can do by using this task list. Okay, you can expand it. You can see those setups. You can expand. Please go on mute, please. Fine. So here you can find list of the setups. Okay, so define orders. If you want to create the sales orders and all, the sales order related, what are the relevant setups are available, it will display. If you are going to do the pricing related setups, what setups we have to create. So this is all the setups you can find here. And if you go to product management offering, so here you can see all these setups which are grouped into specific classification. The same way, if you go to procurement, you can see purchasing configuration, self-service procurement application configuration, supplier portal configuration, sourcing configuration, procurement contracts. This all you can see as a separate folders. That means those are the list of the setups to implement that specific option. Same way financials.
Lakshman, one question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here any project, like here in this case, MX implementation project is assigned to Zoom user. So is it one-to-one relation or one project can be assigned to multiple users?
No. See, project level, the assignment you can do with only single user. Okay, inside of the project, what we have, these we can map with many.
Okay.
We'll see that. We'll just come to know. But project, this is the project. This project can be assigned to only one user. Now say we have order management. Order management I can assign to one team member. Product management I can assign to another team member. Procurement I can assign to different.
Okay.
So we can assign to actual team members. Okay.
Okay.
That's how we can map. We'll see all those points. So just now we have seen how to create the implementation project. What we did during the implementation project creation, we selected these offerings and options. Say you don't want to select offerings and options during the implementation project. You want to select offerings and options after creating implementation project. That means you can create the blank implementation project. Say Zoom implementation project. Creating Zoom implementation project. Okay, I'm not giving any finish date and all, not mandatory. I'll say save and open project. If I click on next, you could see all the offerings and options which are enabled in this instance. Those you can include into your implementation project. If you click on save and open project, it will create blank implementation project. Within that implementation project, you don't find any offerings or options. So after creating implementation project, you can add the offerings and options to any implementation project. We'll see that. Now it will create blank implementation project. Done. Now Zoom implementation project, nothing we have here. So what you want to include into this? What you want to add? I want to include product management. For inventory implementation purpose, we use product management offering. Click on add. You can search. See here, name is offering. We are searching for offering only. If it is not offering, that won't display. Product management. Okay. So we selected product management, click on apply. This is how you can add specific offering into implementation project. We added. Now I want to add procurement offering. So you can add. Okay, select and click on apply. The background you can see procurement is added, because in the procurement only we have purchasing application, so we are adding that. Only if you want to add purchasing also you can add it. That is also possible. We'll see that. And other offering we want to add is order management. Order management. So add, apply. Added in the background, you can see added order management. Okay, done. This is how you can add. So I'm going to expand procurement offering. So within this, if you are going to implement only purchasing, what we need? Define purchasing configuration. Only this offering. Okay, this is purchasing option. Only this purchasing option we require. What is the purchasing option name? Define purchasing configuration, right? Remember this name, define purchasing configuration. Yes, you can go and add only that. You don't want to add, okay, anything. Just you don't want to add procurement into this project. You want to add that option called as define procurement purchasing configuration. Here I am going to search for define purchasing. You see here, the search criteria is offering. Search. I'm not finding. The reason is define purchasing configuration is not a offering, that is option. Select task list. Task list defines specific option. Means the purchasing, to implement purchasing, what are the setups we have, all you have within this title. So select task list. Task list means it could be option or selected tasks. Search. Now you are able to see that. I'm going to select, click on apply, and click on done. So purchasing is selected. Now I may delete this procurement. Procurement I don't need. You may delete it. Okay. So you can delete procurement from your project because you need purchasing only, purchasing implementation. So you can add the option called as define purchasing configuration. So not only specific option. Okay, say for example, in purchasing application, you have some task, some setup. Okay, so you want to add it, you can add that. Say for example, I want to add this manage buyer assignment rule. What does it mean? We'll understand when we are working on it. Now this we call as a task. Whatever you see as a folders, those are, this is a procurement, product management offering. This is order management offering. If you expand it, okay, inside of that folder, what are the subfolders we have? You call it a task list. Those contains multiple tasks. So wherever you see no task, no folder, that is a task. With that, you can do some setup. I want to add only this, or else I want to add only this. Define requisition configuration. This is one of the task list. This also you can add. Okay, that is not an option. Within the option, you have specific task list. That also you can add. Click on add. That is also task list only. Task list means it could be list of tasks, or it may be list of tasks which are belongs to a specific option. Option is nothing but application. Say define requisition related task list. See, define requisition configuration. Specific task list also you can add it to your project. Okay, so these two are offerings. This is one option. In that option, this is a task list, separate task list. I'm going to expand this. I want to add only this. Manage requisition value sets. Only this task I want to add into our project. Yes, we can do that. Anything you can add it to your project. Whatever you need, you can add it. So if you are going to search for the task, you have to change the search criteria to task only. Now we have task list. It won't display. So that is single task. Select tasks. Click on search. Add it. Done. So this is how you can add entire offering or specific option inside of that offering, or within that option, you may select specific task list or single task also you can include into your project. Okay. How you need, you can add it. I'm going to delete this. Directly I'll add the procurement. Else you can keep this as is, no issues. Okay. So this is how you can add. Add procurement. Search, select and click on apply. So it will be added into our implementation project. Within that, it will create the task list. Done. And if you are going to work on supply chain management, okay, you have to add one more offering called as material management and logistics. It will help us to do few setups. It's also mandatory. So add this. So where it would be useful, you will understand. Now I can explain, but we are not aware of those naming conventions and all, leave it. So if you are going to implement supply chain management solution like inventory, purchase, order management, along with that purchasing applications, you can add procurement and material management and logistics. Okay, this all you can add into your implementation project. Okay. So just click on that. This is how you can create the project. We created two projects. The SumX project we created. Okay. So by selecting the offerings and options into this, but we created the Zoom project. After creating this implementation project, we added these offerings and options into this project. Okay. Now we don't need this Zoom project. I'm going to delete it. Delete this project. Say for example, you created implementation project called as Amex. By using Amex implementation project, you completed inventory setups, order management setups, and purchasing setups. You completed setups. And if you go and delete Amex implementation project, there won't be any risk. Your setups will remain in the database as it is. You are deleting the project which will allow you to have access to those pages only. If not from the Amex project, you can access to those pages from the different project also. Okay. So if you create this implementation project and if you complete all the setups by using this implementation project, after some time by mistake or intentionally, if somebody is going to delete this implementation project, whatever the setups you did in order management, product management, procurement, financials, anywhere, those setups will be safe. Okay. So this implementation project is giving path to go to specific pages. Those pages will remain in the instance as it is, but your navigation will miss if you are going to delete the implementation project. This is what we have to understand. We are doing the setups by using this implementation project. That same project is deleted and our setups are not going to be deleted from the instance. Our setups will remain safe. So this is what you have to understand. I'll take simple example.
Yeah, Lakshman, one question.
No, one second. I'll take simple example. So here, I want to create some setup. For example, I want to create, what is the purpose and all we'll discuss later, accounting calendar. I'll go to create that accounting calendar from our project. Okay, manage accounting calendars. You can click on this, go to task icon. Okay, click on this, go to task icon. And from here, you may create accounting calendar. What is accounting calendar? Why it is required? We'll discuss. You may create from here. Done. If somebody is going to delete this project, no issues. I can access the same page from other project also. There is some other project. From here, I can go to the same page. Manage accounting calendars. I can go to the same page. Click on go to task icon. I can go and I can find my accounting calendar. Not only accounting calendar, anything. Whatever you create, you can find in the same instance, if not from one project, from other project. So this is what you have to understand. Yeah, please. Any question?
Yeah. The question is,
Please.
yeah. So it's clear that moreover, this project like MX implementation is kind of navigation sort of thing. I agree.
Correct. Yes.
So
it provides
but,
navigations to go
yeah,
to specific setups.
So the question is, if suppose by mistake some some data is really deleted. So is there any recovery kind of things here? I mean, data recovery, if suppose by
That
mistake.
you have to contact Oracle for such kind of incidents.
So do they also keep backup for some time?
Yes. They keep backup.
Okay. How long? Any idea?
No, always they'll keep it, but I'm not very sure about that count of days and all. But they keep that data for certain time, like whatever you delete, and they maintain the replica of the instances.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Okay. Fine. Any other questions here, please? Okay, this is how we have to create the implementation project. We created implementation project. Any questions, please? No questions. Now, so we'll go and set our implementation project status is in progress. That already we updated. Now we want to assign these offerings to specific team members in the project. So I'm selecting order management and click on assign tasks. Click on assign tasks. Who is going to implement order management? You can assign that order management to that person. Click on add. So you are going to assign this to Mr. X. You search with X, you can find few users since this is a test instance. Okay. You are going to assign to this person. This person is going to implement order management. Select a user and apply. In the background, you can see the user is added. Now click on done. And you can set the timings also. Okay. So this user should complete the setups by which date? You can set the due date. This user should complete order management setups by 22nd. Along with this user, you can assign the same order management for other users also. Okay, you can add other users. Just adding this user. Setup. So for that user also, you are giving the same due date to complete the order management related setups. Say save and close. Now we assigned order management to 2 users. Now I want to assign product management to another user. Select product management. Click on assign tasks. Now click on add. Select user. Search for any user with any letter. You can find many users. Okay. I want to assign to this user. The user means consultants who are going to work for implementation, the consultant names. To complete the product management setups, what would be the due date that you can set? Say the setups should be completed by 21st. Save and close. You can assign to multiple also. The same way procurement.
Same can also be done for on task, subtask level, like.
Yeah, we'll discuss that first. Complete this. Yeah, you can do that. Okay, you can assign to other user. You can assign and you can set the due date to complete those setups. I'm not setting for this user. The same way for finance also. Now, what are the assignments we did? All we did at offering level. Now you want to assign certain option to one consultant, one team member. To expand order management, within that we have define orders, okay, which is the sub option. Now define order, this orders related setups, I want someone to complete within 1 day. So I can assign this to another team member. Okay, if you expand it, define orders for all these setups, what we have in this system is showing the two users names, Airtel and there is another user. Place cursor on that, it will display. Airtel, one more means which user. Okay, this is displaying these two users because entire order management we assign to two users. That is the reason within the order management, what are the setups we have, all the setups should be completed by those two resources only, those two consultants only. So along with that, I want to assign only, okay, orders, define orders. This task list I want to assign to another team member. So select define offer orders and click on assign tasks. You can assign to another team member. Say apply. Say done. And you can set the due date. If you are assigning the same to multiple users, here you can enable assign same due date to all the users and you can give one due date. If you assign 10 users here, for 10 users, whatever the due date you will provide here, the same will be defaulted. System will take the same due date. Okay, for this user, I'm going to say should be completed by tomorrow. Now, if you expand, define orders, already you assigned entire order management to two users, two consultants. Now, for orders, we added one more, total 3. Airtel plus 2 more users. So this is how it will be added. Within the order management, if you go to any task, only you can see 2. Under define orders, what are the task list we have? For all those, you can see 3. 3 people, these setups are assigned. You can assign single task also to specific person. Okay, now I want to assign the order profiles. This is one of the setup which you have to complete. So I can select this specific task, click on assign tasks. Okay. For entire order management, 2 users we assigned. Only for define orders, we assign to 1 user. Right. Now the same you can see. So system is showing the same time permitted also. That means this user and this user can complete this setup. But this user cannot complete this setup because the application implementation consultant role or other roles which allow that user to perform that setup, those roles are not assigned to this user. Okay, now I'll remove all this. Okay, so this specific task I want to allow different user to complete. I'm removing the assignment which is applicable for this task. So I want to add different user. Just click on add. I want to assign to user called as Geo. Select Click on apply, click on done. Okay, permitted. This user has access. How? For this user, application implementation consultant role is assigned. That is, the system is showing not only application implementation consultant role, there are few other roles also which allows to do certain setups. But application implementation consultant role will allow to do all the setups. We'll see that also. So for which task, which role is required, that also will check. You may give the due date. Setup should be completed today. So save and close. So for this task is assigned to this user. Remaining all the tasks are assigned to 3 users. If you expand other task lists, you can see those all are assigned here. For how many? Okay. So this is how you can see. Just how we are assigning accordingly, you can see all this. I'm collapsing these orders, manage orders. You can go to define common order management configuration. Expand it. Here you can see only 2 users. Entire order management we assign to 2 users. Only the order process related setups only we assign to 3. So this is how the entire offering level you can assign, or entire for specific option level or particular task list, or for single task level also you can assign the resource. And say for example, the procurement product management consultant who is working for product management, that consultant started doing the setups. They can update the status. Since they started doing the setups, they can update the status as in progress. Say save and close. If anybody is going to look at this project, they can understand product management setups are in progress. So they completed doing the product management setups. They can update the status as completed. If you expand product management, within the product management, whatever we have for everything, system will display as a completed. That is just for information. System won't stop you if you want to do the setups, okay, from this application, from this project. You want to do few setups. No issues, you can go and do it. Just we are updating as we completed. If you want to do any setup, system won't stop you. This is just for information purpose only, we can update. The same way, like you started working on procurement, you can update the status as a in progress. So this is how you can assign and you can update at any level. Say for example, within the procurement, you completed setups only for purchasing. Now only for purchasing option level, you can set the status as a completed. You can set the status as a completed. So save and close. Now you can see within the procurement for all, within the procurement for all, you can see the status as in progress. Only for purchasing, status is completed. So this is how you can update, and not only option level, task level also you can update the status. Say for example, I'm going to this task list, expand it. So expand any one of the task list. I want to set the status for this task as a completed. Manage procurement agents. So we created procurement agents. What does it mean by procurement agent? That we'll discuss later. Now just for our understanding, I'm selecting the status as completed. That setup we completed. Now we are updating the status only for the task. So what is the use? Because if you update as a completed, system is not going to stop you if you are trying to create one more procurement agent. It will allow. If you are going to assign, for example, this order management offering to one resource, one consultant, any other consultant also can do the setups. This is all for just for information. Assignments and statuses, all for information purpose only. How this can be useful, we'll see that. Just click on done. So when you log in with this user to this Zoom user on our project is assigned, right? Now click on overview. Now you can see the progress of your project. You updated statuses, you did assignments, right? So in the entire your project, 11% of setups are completed. The number of tasks are 244. Here, 22% setups are in progress. The count of setups are 479. Not started status tasks within your project is 1463. And here you can see assignment status. Okay. So this week, how many setups need to be completed? These already completed are 232 and not started are these. For all these tasks, no due date is given. Okay, no due date is given. If you click on what are those setups are already completed, you can click on this yellow color bar. It will list out those setups. These are the setups which are marked in your project as a completed. You can again go back to assignment status. If you want to know the 479 setups are in progress, which setups are those? You can click. It will list out. Go to assignment status. The same way, you can go to assignment status by task list. Select this tab. Wait for a second. So it is showing like, okay, the assignments, okay, the procurement and product management. Clearly you can see what are those, okay, which are completed, which are in progress. Directly you can see here with a count of the tasks also. This is procurement. In the procurement, 479 status are in progress. It is one task which is completed. Okay. The 12 tasks completed 12. From procurement 12 completed in yellow color. Here financials not started. By clicking on this, you can see from here also which tasks those are. You can see task list wise. You can expand. You can see tasks also. The same way you can check resource status also. Which resource are working for this project? Okay, you can see that. Okay, so these are the resource, different resource who are working for this. And this week, who has to complete how many setups? You can see here. So this week, this resource has to complete these setups. Next week, nothing. Nothing we assign next week. Everything we assign in 2-3 days time. Okay. Past due, which need to be completed in the past, which are not yet completed. Nothing. So in coming 3 weeks and coming 4 weeks or after 4 weeks, which setups need to be completed. Okay. And here, none means where no due date is given for so and so setups. So there's also system. For this user, we assign these tasks without giving any due date. None, no due date for those. Okay. So this is how you can track. If you update the status against the project and the task list or task or offering or option level, and if you do the assignments, this is how you will be able to track the progress of the project. You'll be able to track the progress of the project. This is what we have to understand. The project purpose is to do the setups only. Okay, just to do the setups, we are creating the project. You don't compare this project with actual project what we do. There we do many activities. In those many activities, one of the activities doing the setups. To do those setups, we are creating implementation project.
Yeah.
So
Lakshman, one question.
You have to understand when you talk about implementation project. We'll talk about all these options here. What you see, what is help, go to tasks, all columns, what you see, everything we'll discuss. But now this is what we have to understand. So we're done for today. If you have any questions, you can stay back. We can discuss. If no questions, we'll connect tomorrow, same time. Thank you all.
I have a question.
Please.
Thanks.
Yeah, the question is, Lakshman. So here we have mentioned that each offerings, then task or task list. So we can assign the user as well as the timeline due date. So just for my understanding, you may not go into detail, but how we decide the timeline here in this fusion of any project? Is there any calculation like in R12?
See, when we are working as a consultant, you can decide. Okay. Say you are going to do the implementation for one country. Okay. One country. So how many businesses they have, in how many locations they are doing the business, what is their business process. Once you understand these points, simply you can say, okay, the procurement or purchasing setups you can complete in 1 day or 2 days or 3 days or 4 days or 1 week, that you will be able to give the number. Okay. Once we go through these applications, you will understand about these applications, how to do the setups. That there you will get understanding what setups we have to do and how much time the setups takes. Another point is, for how many countries we are going to do the implementation, what are the applications we are going to implement, what are the business processes they are going to follow. Based on these parameters, you can say how many days it may take. It is not like exact date, okay, exact time, just very tentative time you can specify.
Yeah, so because in like R12 EBS, it's like moreover based on the calculation of length of supply chain and based on the number of processes. There is a particular.
That's what I'm telling. That's
on,
what based on their business process, okay, and for number of countries what you are going to implement, or else. So how many like in how many locations they are operating the business. This all you will take into consideration and you will give the timeline.
So here also a formula is there any
same whatever you call in EBS, that only. See, in the EBS, this all information you may maintain in the spreadsheet outside of the system, right? Or else using some project management tools, etc. Here they given the flexibility to track that information also within the system environment with the help of this implementation project. That is only the difference. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Any other questions, please?
Here in under offering, there are some tasks. There are some task list which are marked as strict, and some are not.
Correct.
What is that? I mean, is there some mandatory sort of?
Yes, yes, you can see that. When we do the setups, you'll just come to know that. See here. I'll go to this. So I'll expand it. Here you can see list of setups. Here, this setup is mandatory. You can see star mark. These are setups are not mandatory. But if you are dealing with that relevant concept, those may be required. But to implement, those are directly not compulsory. Okay. So you can expand, you can see. So here, these two setups are mandatory. This is not mandatory. We'll come to know once we start working on the application.
Yeah, sure.
We'll come to know, but you can identify with that star mark.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So any other questions, please? Okay, no questions. If no questions, we can wind up for today. We'll connect tomorrow, same time. Thank you all.